Should you be saving first or paying off debt first? Which one is better? I'll let you know. Coming right up. Hey, Freedom Frugalers, it's time for another fantastic Friday here on Frugal Freedom, where you learn how to manage your time and become financially independent. Today, we're going to determine whether we should be saving our income or paying off our debt first. Both are very crucial to your financial success, but trying to attack them both at once may spread you too thin and you may lack in one area or both. I've asked this question myself plenty of times, and I found it truly depends on your situation. So instead of giving you a definite answer, I will provide you with suggestions based on different scenarios, and whichever one fits you or is close to your situation, I suggest that you go that route. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything that I provide should be taken with discretion, and I am only providing information and not full-on personal advice. What you shouldn't do is not hit that like button, not subscribe, and not hit the bell notification. In other words, if you like this channel or anything that I say, show some support and put me in the algorithm, baby. Now, I got to mess with y'all a little bit. I'm sorry. It's in my nature. I try to be serious on this channel, but we're going to move forward. But definitely do all three of those things. I've tried a couple of different methods, and I want to give you some of the scenarios that I face. Okay, so before we get into that, let's talk about the numbers. All right, so unless you have a very high interest bearing savings account, your savings on an annual basis will only yield you up to maybe 1%. And especially in this year 2020, when the Fed rates were cut down completely and banks had to go against that. I know I was going with Marcus Bank, who was paying 2.5%, and they went down to 0.6%. Didn't mean that I stopped using them. I just stopped putting my money into that account at the current moment. The average annual rate of inflation in America just from 2015 to 2020 was 1.65%, with 2019 being as high as 2.3%. Safe to say, you lose your value of money by having it just sit in your savings. Meanwhile, the average interest on credit card debt just in 2020 alone is costing you a dreadful 20% of extra money. Okay, so the obvious choice would be to pay off debt first, right? And I'm going to back that up with a little bit of a scripture because it's in my nature to do it. I'm a God-fearing man. But according to Proverbs 22:7, you are a slave to the lender. So any money that you're saving is not your money. Your decisions are controlled by whoever you owe money. Before you say, oh, no, I do whatever I want with my money, think about it. How many times have you had to sacrifice a night out because you were trying to save money or you had some bill to pay? But I want to encourage you guys. I want to tell you that it doesn't have to be like that. And there are some things to consider. Keep in mind, when I say debt, I mean the debt that charges you over 7%, like credit cards and personal loans, car loans, stuff like that. Fixed payment, long-term loans, like student loans, mortgage loans, I'm not talking about those. So with that said, let's go into these scenarios. Here's the first scenario: paying off your debt before saving. Should you choose to pay off your debt, then save, you will fall into what I ultimately did. All right, so I have a confession. In my No Discipline Budget series, I told you guys I paid 30 to 40% of my money to debt and only about 20% to savings. Please check out my NDB series. I have the playlist for you, link below. Everything was fine though until it wasn't. All right, here's what happened. I bought a 1996 Honda Civic back in July 2020 for $200, hoping that it would last me at least until May of 2021. Since July, I've had to pay over $500 to keep that car maintained, no problem. But I had a system of paying off debt and having emergency money. I didn't have enough though, because in October of 2020, the car finally gave out on me, right? And I had to take a loan out and use my credit cards to buy another car and also pay for some of the emergency expenses because most of my money was, guess what, going into paying off my debt. So here I am using this revolving door of paying off my debt and then having to use it back for emergency expenses. Now, I had to buy another car, but I'm so glad that I bought this car because I paid cash for this car, straight out cash, because I bought it from a private owner. It's basically brand new, but I don't have any car payments, all right? I only have to pay back the loan and my credit cards. So paying off debt before having savings, and saying that, makes you more susceptible to having to use those same credit cards and put yourself back into debt. So the solution may be to save your money first and then pay off debt, right? You could, but you would definitely run into paying more money in the long run than the actual debt that you owe itself at the current moment. Prolonging your debt payments in the name of savings for a rainy day will cost you more than that 0.6% APY will cost you. Think about it. If you save up to $10,000, right? At the end of the year at a 0.6% APY, you will only get an extra $60 from your savings account. Meanwhile, if you owe $10,000 in debt, so the same amount in debt, and it accrues at 20% interest, by the end of the year, your debt will be $12,000. So you would have to pay an extra $2,000 to pay off your debts, and you only got an extra $60 from your savings. So this is why I say that sometimes it's not good to hold your money just in savings. So what's best? I found that there is a middle ground, and I found it to work for me, and I've used it over and over and over to complete my goals. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the Dave Ramsey's baby steps. As a personal follower of his teachings, I fully advocate this method if you're struggling to find the middle ground. If you haven't heard about it, the baby steps is a no-nonsense 7-step guide to financial freedom. It coincides with the beliefs that I have. In this video and at this current time that you're at right now, we're only focusing on the first 3, and each step requires a level of mental strength. Okay, surprisingly, the first step is the most intense because it requires you to completely shift your mindset if you haven't already even thought about savings. Okay, many of us have never reached having $1,000 just sitting in our bank account at will. You may have had $1,000 at one point, but $1,000 just sitting in your account, there's not many Americans that can say that they have that. All right. And Dave wants us to save that money fast. Okay. So yes, you save up $1,000 as fast as you can. So here's what I would do. I would give myself no more than 90 days to do this. This is your cushion money for just in case something happens. If nothing happens and you got $1,000, then you move to step 2. And step 2 is simply just paying off your debt using the debt snowball. I talked about the debt snowball, the debt avalanche, and compared both with my good series here on YouTube. But now you use that $1,000 to pay off as much debt as you can from smallest balance to largest balance. And then you reset baby steps 1 and 2 until you have all of your debt paid off. That's my method, by the way. I don't think Dave explicitly teach that you pay off your debt up to $1,000 and then save up another $1,000 and pay it off. Once you have all of your debt paid off, you can move to step 3, which is now saving 3 to 6 months of what it would cost you to live right now. Okay, no lifestyle inflation, no because you have extra money in the bank that your lifestyle increases. Okay, what would it cost you to live right now for 6 months should something happen to you? New job, laid off, unfortunately, wanting to move, or working on your business, whatever. Step 3 may take a little bit longer than step 2, but step 2 is probably going to be your longest step, depending on how much debt you're in. But at least With step 3, now you're not worried about having to pay off debt, and also you can build your cushion a little bit faster. Matter of fact, you can build it a lot faster. But I just want to say that it starts with you setting up an easy to follow budget first. I have a complete series on YouTube called No Discipline Budgeting. And if you need help, grab my free guide that allows you to set up your strategy for saving and paying off debt and living comfortably while doing so with little to no discipline. If you would like to get a copy sent to your email, the link is in the description below. Once again, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. And finally, comment down below if you're already paying down debt or paying yourself first, if any of these ways sound good or anything that I've missed. And lastly, if there's any other topics that you would like me to cover. I've been Izzy, your virtual mentor. And until next time, stay frugal until you're free. Peace.